Hello, welcome back to another fantasy football video. Hope everyone is doing well. Here today with a video looking ahead to game week 5. Now it's a very quick turnaround from game week 4. Having just completed game week 4, we only now have a couple of days until game week 5. Today I'm just going to be taking a quick look at how the team has done this week and then moving on into the potential transfers. There's quite a few players, as we will come on to see, that could do what that I could do with getting rid of. To be honest, if you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you do enjoy the content, and let me know down in the comments what moves you are thinking of making this week. So first things first, how did the team do this week? We ended up doing okay. We got 77 points, which ended up being a quite nice green arrow, moving from 3.5 mil up to 2 mil. So a couple of green arrows on the trot, really starting to recover that sort of poor start to the season. Robert Sanchez once again coming in with some lovely points there. Brighton now keeping 3 clean sheets out of 4, and yet Robert Sanchez seems to be the standout goalkeeper so far this season. Finally, the Liverpool defensive assets have managed to return. Robertson picking up a nice 9 points, and Trent absolutely smashing it, really damaging or hurting those players who got rid of him. Gabriel picking up a nice little goal at the end of the Fulham game to win Arsenal the game. Managed to get 9 points there, so that was very tidy. Pontus Jansson, I saw the team sheet for the Brentford game, and I was very surprised not to see him on there. Now Everton did end up scoring, so it doesn't really matter. And so Andreas came off of the bench for me, and just a nice solitary 2 points there. I mean, it was just to sort of tide me over for the rest of the game week. Saka did end up getting a return, a solitary assist in that game, but hey ho, it is better than nothing. Pedro Neto getting 2 points. He's been rather disappointing so far this season. He did get an attacking return in the Newcastle game, however it did end up rightfully getting chalked off by VAR, but it was just quite a frustrating one, to be honest, to watch him finally get an assist and then it getting chalked off. But oh well, we move. Then Salah, how can Liverpool win 9-0 and Salah not get any kind of contribution? Ended up captaining him, which is why you can see there that he has 6 points. And then Jesus up front. To be honest, at the minute, Jesus, I'm not actually too bothered about if he doesn't do too well, just because I feel like actually it's going to hurt my rank if he does well, just because of all the people who are captaining him and talking about a player who hurt my rank this week. Erling Haaland did damage it a little bit, but the fact that I own him definitely kind of cushioned that blow a little bit more, and him getting 17 points. I was thinking about transferring him out soon due to what Pep has been saying about rotation, but if he's going to play one game and go and grab himself 17 points and he's not actually blank so far this season, he just is really a must-have. So that's how we've done in game week 4. 77 points, as I say, moving us up to 2 million. So sort of setting ourselves up nicely, sort of going forward into this very quick turnaround game week 5. So this is sort of the current situation of the team. As you can see, Pontus Jansson currently injured, or 75% injury at least. Bailly and Neto, I've lost quite a bit of value on those two, which is quite unfortunate. 0.4 combined, and I think that's only going to get worse from here on out, and you might be surprised to hear that I'm actually not thinking of getting rid of those two this week. My main thoughts this week are really around Saka and Pontus Jansson. I kind of feel like I need to get Saka gone just to free up a little bit of value. I don't even have enough to go, Pedro Neto to grow. Or I have 0. Let me scroll up here quickly. 0.4 million in the bank. So if I really wanted to, I could go Pedro Neto to gross. But then, what would I do with the other transfer? I'm not really too sure. So currently what I'm thinking of doing is taking out these two and then selecting the replacement for Saka. Now, it's quite a tough choice, to be honest, as a replacement for Saka. I'm currently thinking Martinelli, just kind of follow the bandwagon. I mean, there were quite a lot of people this week actually transferring Martinelli out, which I find quite surprising, considering if you look here, the fixtures that Arsenal have are pretty nice, I would say. That Aston Villa game and that Everton game. Brentford, they're reasonably tough side, but it's not exactly a bad fixture. And Manchester United away, okay, they have recovered a little bit in the past few games, but Arsenal also playing very well. I guess you could also make an argument for Martin Odegaard of Arsenal, he's the third highest scoring midfielder as I can see here, and yeah, he's performing really, really well. I mean, he got a 3-pointer, a 2-pointer, and then goes and bags a brace and gets a goal and gets all 3 bonus points. I think that's the main thing about Odegaard, is that if he gets a return, he's very likely to get on the bonus points just because he is so involved in the game. But I think for me, I'm going to be maybe a little bit boring, but probably follow the crowd. It'll be quite annoying with all the value that I've lost, to be honest, if Martinelli ends up going from 6.4 to 6.3 million, just because loads of people are now deciding to sell him, even though he's a very good option. He ended up, I think, getting 7 shots in the Fulham game, and the thing is, had he scored, which he probably could have done already, he's got an assist. Everything would be changing. Now, in terms of the defensive asset that I'm looking for, now, Ivan Perisic has actually looked pretty tidy so far this season. Apart from that 1-pointer that he got in the first week, he got an assist in the second week after coming off the bench, got the 12-pointer and then the 6-pointer. And, it's not actually too bad of a thing if he's going to come off in the 70th minute, because it locks in that clean sheet. Spurs' fixtures, though, it's nothing really to be screaming and shouting about. West Ham away. I mean, West Ham haven't been too great so far this season, so I wouldn't say that's particularly a bad fixture. Fulham at home. Fulham have been okay in terms of scoring goals, but it's still on the more favourable side. What I would say about this fixture for Spurs is that last year Spurs did the double over them, and Spurs seem to tend to play quite well against Manchester City. So I wouldn't actually necessarily hold that as too bad of a fixture for Spurs, to be honest. You just have to consider recent history. But then again, it is Manchester City. So, yeah, hey ho, we just have to think about it. Other players to potentially bring in, I could double up on the Brighton defence. Brighton have looked particularly good so far, particularly solid. However, the man that I'm really looking towards it's quite simple. It's Reece James. I feel like I need to get Reece James into this squad. If you look here, he's got this 3 7-pointers. I mean, in the 4 games that Chelsea have played, they've kept 1 clean sheet, and Reece James has still managed to pick up 7 points in the 2 games, or in 2 of the games where they didn't. Where they didn't manage to keep a clean sheet, which is quite something, to be honest. And he's very, very good for the bonus points. Had Harvey Barnes not scored, Reece James was looking like he was probably going to clean up all 3 bonus points and get the assist and the clean sheet. So he would have ended up on 12 points. So Harvey Barnes actually really saving my rank a little bit there, and a lot of people having the double Chelsea clean sheet. So I feel like I just need to get some coverage in, and Reece James does just seem like the guy. Southampton away, West Ham at home, Fulham away, Liverpool at home. I mean, they're okay fixtures. Southampton have been okay so far this season, as I've said. West Ham a little bit poor, and then Fulham away, not the easiest of fixtures. But if James can go and pick up an assist or a goal in any of these games, we're expecting bonus points combined potentially with a clean sheet. I'm more just thinking he could really, really hurt my rank, and that's also the sort of why I'm looking at going Martinelli over Odegaard. It's a little bit boring, but that team selected by it would just really hurt if Martinelli ends up doing better than Odegaard over this period. And if Odegaard ends up doing better than Martinelli, then sort of, oh well. Not too many people own Odegaard at the minute. I mean, I think his ownership is starting to rise a little bit just because of how well he has been playing. Another player to mention is Rodrigo Moreno from Leeds. Currently the highest scoring midfielder in the game. And yeah, as you can see here, he had an absolutely fantastic start to the season. And the fixtures from here on out, or at least until Gameweek 8-ish, pretty good. Everton at home in Gameweek 5 is going to be a pretty nice one than Brentford. I think this Forest game is really what I'm looking towards as a potential. I mean, the thing is about doing this is I may be looking a little bit too long term here, but it's also about a bit of money management. And if I do this, what this does allow me to do in the future is go, for example, Pedro Neto to an Aronson. If I just... you just have to an Aronson for that Gameweek 7 game when they do play against Forest at home. And I just feel like this in the future just gives me a little bit more option. If I go Rodrigo, then I feel like I don't particularly want to be doubling down on Leeds attackers. Although Leeds have been doing okay so far this season, I just don't see too much upside in doing that. And yeah, so this is sort of currently how I'm looking at making my transfers ahead of game week 5. Currently, I'll quickly move on into the pick team so you can see how things currently line up. If we have a look here, yeah, so this is sort of how the team currently lines up with, as you can see here, Ward, Andreas, Bay, and Greenwood on the bench now. Andreas, a tough decision between him and Neto, but I think Neto against Bournemouth does just favour it for me. And then Janssen would be Reece James, and then Saka would be Martinelli. So I feel like, they could actually be pretty decent moves. But yeah, that's the main thing. A lot of people this week will be considering getting rid of Salah. For me, it's a firm hold. As you can see from this team, there's a lot more for me to kind of be dealing with in terms of other players getting rid of. And what I would take away from that game is that Liverpool created so many chances that on another day Salah would probably put those in the back of the net. But yeah, as you can see, this is how the team lines up, or potentially will line up, and the transfers that I could be making. Let me know down in the comments the moves that you are potentially thinking of making ahead of game week 5. It's a very quick turnaround, so we're going to have to be thinking quite quick and quite hard about these moves. But yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are new around here. Hit the like button if you enjoy this style of content, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.